Welcome back, YouTubers, to a Royal Rumble review of us, the British Fist.
Coaching.
We are the two men in the hoodies today. I'm Mr. Parkin, the man in the blue hoodie, and the man in the white hoodie is none other than, well, you should know him as NJ, people.
Before I do it, yes, people, you can make all the white jokes as you want. What's up?
And you can make all the blue jokes now. They don't really joke about that kind of stuff. This pay-per-view was very interesting. I imagine that there's going to be a lot of discussion about the Royal Rumble winner and about what happened in the main event. So if you have anything you want to talk to us about, let us know in the comment section below, because I have a feeling there'll be a lot, and I mean a lot, of opinions on this show. Do you think there will be? There was a lot of shit going on tonight, weren't there?
Botches, yes.
Yeah, well, let's hope that we don't do too many botches in this review, NJ, as it is a Royal Rumble review. Let's just get straight onto this. The pre-show. Antonio Cesaro versus Miz for the US Championship. You know what? This was a pretty decent match on the pre-show. I really wish it would have been on the card, though, because I was actually quite looking forward to watching this match. It really deserved a place on the card, in my opinion.
With this match being the pre-show, I'm not really sure what the WWE is thinking. Yes, it weren't as important as the other matches that were actually on the card, but really, the Miz, Cesaro, who has been rumoured as someone that WWE want to take seriously, he wins the US Championship on a pre-show, and then he's challenging it, defending it against someone as great as the Miz on the pre-show. The match made up for it, but with the quality of the match was in some way, it should have really been on the card. Scrap pre-show.
Cesaro, well, I like the idea of a pre-show, but not big matches like this, in my opinion, being on the pre-show. But Cesaro wins pretty clean. Looks like they're going to continue the feud by what they did in the Rumble, which we'll talk about later.
That's the thing, because with this match, I was saying throughout this match, make it end like with the Cesaro foot on the rope, so like that, so you can say this match has to continue because that's unfair. But Cesaro gets a finish over Miz. Yes, Miz injured his knee, but I wanted it to end unclean just because it's a pre-show match and a way to continue a pretty good feud.
We opened up the official pay-per-view with Alberto Del Rio versus Big Show in a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Just saw this on free TV a couple of weeks ago. Now WWE expect me to pay for it, even though I did pay for the pay-per-view. But this is not one of the things I paid for. I saw this on SmackDown for free, and now I'm expected to pay for it. Just not a very good message WWE is sending out there, in my opinion.
It gave Del Rio a big win by winning against the Big Show and in the last man standing, but I don't know why you had to use the same stipulation, but with a different way of winning the match to happen at the pay-per-view. I would have probably chose a different match stipulation just to make it different than how he won it.
You got a nice little pep talk from Bret Hart, though, didn't he? That was a pretty nice little introduction there, solidifying Del Rio as a babyface. And Del Rio got a pretty good reaction when he came out to the crowd. And I think that the best thing they've done with Del Rio is not necessarily give him the championship, but they've made him feud against Big Show, who in my opinion is a very good heel that can help get a Del Rio over, which I think was a definite smart move by WWE.
The Bret Hart thing, as soon as I saw it happen, I thought, I'm not buying into this, because when you think of Bret Hart, he's going to hate the heel. He's going to think, no, I'm not taking it seriously. He's going to defend the faces. So when Bret Hart probably last saw Del Rio or was in the ring with Del Rio or something like that, you probably saw him as a heel going through all of his insults and stuff. So for the WWE thinking, how can we get Del Rio over as a face? I know, we'll have him in a segment with one of the best people there are, Bret Hart, and I just weren't buying it. Yes, it helped Del Rio, but I just weren't buying it.
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about trying to associate these baby faces with past stars that respect them and trying to do it that way. But as for the match itself, I thought the SmackDown match was a tad better, personally. I watched that match, but it was still a pretty decently worked World Heavyweight Championship last man standing match between the two. You had the chokeslam through the table. I think there were some questions about the finish of this match as well, though.
The thing is, when it comes to Big Show matches, especially when you get so many insults for how slow he is and all this, big moments like he's had against Sheamus, the big special moments of those matches, the climbing up on the Royal Rumble stuff on the ramp, the stage area, big spot there. Yes, that could have finished Del Rio off or finished Big Show off. So I think they could have finished the match there in a way. Like, Big Show could have fell off there, hit the floor, hit the table, got the count up there. But the way they finished it, yes, as soon as I saw this, I thought, is that Batista there?
Yeah, I know. It was a rehash of a Batista finish, but I'll say this: it was a smart finish in some ways, but kind of lame. I really thought they'd give Del Rio a nice, clean victory here to solidify his babyface run against Big Show at a Big Four pay-per-view. He still won, which I think was the right decision. I just wonder if this has anything to do with them going into Elimination Chamber on February.
Well, just like the match in the pre-show, this match I can feel's going to be continuing the feud because Big Show's not going to let that slide, that he lost that kind of way. So I expect this feud to continue, probably maybe on the build-up to the pay-per-view or the pay-per-view itself, but I expect this to continue.
We had a Biggie Langston interview, Dolph Ziggler. I thought that was pretty funny. A lot of people saying that it hurt his character. I found this quite funny, so I think it was pretty good.
Well, as much as it brought comedy, I think with him being a heel, I know it's more about getting Ziggler his chance to speak in a professional and quality way, but Langston being quiet for the weeks he's been appearing, I think he could have probably continued that, just like people have been saying about Ryback. I think Langston could have said there that when all of a sudden there's an argument or something big happening between the three of them, then he could have just came up with a big, massive, ragey rant. But the way he did there, it was funny, but I maybe not agree with him doing it.
The old school backstage vignettes for the Royal Rumble participants was a pretty nice addition as well. I thought they maybe could have spread them out throughout the show, but at least it was a nice way of at least spotlighting some of these guys that are going to be in the Rumble. I
do like it. Yes, they could have been spread out, but the thing with the Rumble being so close to the beginning of the card, it had to be squeezed all into one place. And plus, the ones who spoke were all pretty much main eventers, which I thought, if you gave them miniature people, like if Alex Riley was in the Rumble, he could have had a good segment. Or not 3MB, forget them, just other people than just main eventers. So I just thought other people could have had a chance to speak.
So you're going to give Mike time to people who had really no chance in the Rumble?
Probably have one of the big names speak, but I think as you've been concentrating on the big names throughout Raw and SmackDown, give the little people a chance to say why they think they deserve to win. Just face that we want to see.
Team Hell No versus Team Road Scholars for the Tag Team Championship. Was a pretty standard tag team match between the two. Was you surprised when Team Hell No won this match, especially Daniel Bryan making Damien Sandow tap out?
Daniel Bryan throughout the match looked like the weak link in a way. He had his good spots, but it felt like Kane was the powerful one. But the finish, yes, in the predictions, we were siding with Road Scholars. But thinking about this after we did our predictions to now, I thought they've been teasing the Shield involving with the tag team champions who are Team Hell No. So for them to win, which they did do, maybe they're going to continue the Shield and Team Hell No going on to another pay-per-view, if not Mania.
I thought they'd been teasing the Shield with Orton, Jameson, Ryback. I don't remember them teasing it with them.
Hence why they got in the match with Ryback when it's the TLC match. There we go.
Okay, let's move on to the Rumble match. I believe this is probably going to have the most talking points. Let's first address the returns. We had the first two were Ziggler and Chris Jericho. What a really nice way to start off the Rumble. That really got me hyped up for this Rumble, and this Rumble I really did enjoy a lot more than last year, but this, in my opinion, really got the ball rolling. The return of Chris Jericho facing the guy that took him out of the WWE after SummerSlam. A really nice start to this Rumble, I thought. Throughout
this match, these two were the standout ones. They even made me feel that this could be a good feud to go to. But with Ziggler being Mr. Money in the Bank, it kind of made me think that even though it would be a good feud, even though we had it, a probably good one that run across, it looked like these two were the standout ones because of how long they were in.
It just depends, I guess, what Jericho's, if he's signed for Mania. I guess we'll find out on the TV show. You had Goldust return, you had Rey Mysterio return, and the Godfather return. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Coming out of his two hoes, I guess the economy has had a little bit of an effect on the Godfather.
Goldust, we do expect what's going to happen with that. Rey Mysterio, I just late reacted to him returning. And the Godfather, the Good Father, whatever you want to call him, it was good to see him back. A quick elimination without seeing the whole train. Yes, it was a bit sad, but I guess at this point in the Rumble, it was concentrating on who's going to go across to win it.
It didn't matter because it was the Godfather and he is the home master. There we go. We had Rhodes lasting 30 minutes. Last year he lasted about 45. Ziggler went over 50 minutes. We kind of thought him being number one, he'd have a good showing in the Rumble. Jericho lasted nearly 50 minutes as well. And also Sheamus and the eventual winner Cena lasted a good amount of time as well. So let's just look at a couple of highlights in this Rumble. You had Kofi Kingston with kind of like the spot of the Rumble, landed on Tensai's back, and then used JBL's chair to hop back to the ring only to get eliminated.
That's the thing. The chair spot, it was good and all, but it weren't a Jomo spot. It weren't Kofi's last spot. So it was funny, but it weren't as... Oh, that's a really good spot compared to the past.
I guess with the handstand one, it was a lot better. Bryan eliminated Kane, and then they had that thing where Kane catches Daniel Bryan but drops into the floor. I guess this is going to be the start of their WrestleMania feud if they choose to go down that route. They
had that funny promo backstage deciding who's going to be who's what number and stuff. Then they had that catch segment. It was a tad gay because they just stayed and go.
It reminded me of AJ Lee and Kane that time. We also had Miz and Cesaro brawling as Miz entered, so it looks like they're going to continue that feud onwards, which I believe is a good move. They may be an Elimination Chamber, it may be stretched at the WrestleMania. Who really knows? Bo Dallas had a bit of a showing in this Rumble as well. He won the NXT tournament. He eliminated Wade Barrett and went over 20 minutes, only for Barrett to eliminate him and hit him with the bullhammer. I wonder if this is going to be a start of maybe an IC title feud. But either way, it's a pretty strong way to bring in what is essentially a rookie. I mean, that's probably the best way they could have done it. I know you don't like the fact that they eliminated Barrett. But
number one, I don't really know who
Bo Dallas.
Whatever his freaking name is. I don't really know who he was. Yeah, he's NXT. He went through his tournament, whatever. But the thing is, I don't really care much about him. Yeah, he lasted a while, but I don't really care about him. Then he eliminates Barrett. I'm like, when are they gave him the IC Championship, but when are they actually going to make him, this is going to be a great year for Wade Barrett, and then he gets eliminated by some rookie.
Yes.
And that was a bit of a shame. Then the whole way about eliminating him, I'm going to make a rant about this. I don't agree with eliminating people who are still in the Rumble. That's a different story. But if that comes to be a feud, what has this Bo guy actually done to probably enter a feud?
Well, I guess they're trying to bring him in quite strongly. I guess WWE are very high on Bo Dallas. Looks like they're trying to bring him in very strongly, and this was a good way of doing it, in my opinion. Dolph Ziggler eliminated Chris Jericho. We got Sheamus, Ryback, and John Cena as the last three, the people we predicted were going to win this Royal Rumble. And then we get to the end, where you get Cena and Ryback, who in a face-off, which I was really interested to see. Cena ends up eliminating Ryback to win the Royal Rumble. You know, I know a lot of people in the IWC are going to rant about this, but I tell you what, guys, I don't like this as much as you do, but I'm a realist here. You know, if WWE were going to do Rock versus Cena, which is obviously the route they're going to go down, we cannot deny that as fans, that as much as we don't like it, if they were going to do this, they kind of had to go all the way with it, as it is going to be the main draw, which is why I can understand that they made John Cena win, even though I don't particularly like it. That's my piece, NJ. Now it's your time to rant or whatever you do. I guess this is what gets the views.
John Cena, you prick! What the hell are you doing? You've won a WrestleMania, they're making a big deal out of this. Yeah, you're going to go to WrestleMania, face The Rock, probably beat him. I lost to Rock! I'll have to face him again at WrestleMania. But he's like, I got my points. Yeah, I'm glad Ryback didn't win. Ryback, what the hell? Yeah, you made it to the final. But the fact is, you came in so late, you had the big opportunity to win. So I'm just glad. When it came to those two, and even Sheamus, even Orton, I was like, this is why I weren't so hyped up about the Rumble. So, Vince McMahon, you've got your WrestleMania match. Do I give a fuck?
So they had John Cena win the Rumble. They had Ryback get eliminated last. Dolph Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, Sheamus, and Cena all went quite long in the Rumble. So some of the correct people got highlighted in this Rumble, in my opinion. It was a very enjoyable Royal Rumble. I actually enjoyed this a lot more than last year's. I didn't like the finish particularly that much. I felt it was kind of predictable and, you know, Cena loving, I guess, but at the same time, it was an enjoyable Rumble. I can't deny that. So let's move on to the main event segment. I guess the Royal Rumble winner, John Cena, will cause the most discussion in the YWC, so I guess you can post your hate down below, but you'll be getting some interesting responses from me. Was you surprised the Shield didn't get involved in this Rumble, though?
With the Shield, when it came down to just Ryback and Cena, I thought this is a perfect time to keep your eye on Ryback. But I guess the story now is moving on to the bigger main event scene instead of Ryback. But I don't think the Ryback thing's finished, because Ryback has been saying, I'm coming after you, Shield, this is not over, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of disappointing there was no Rumble involvement, but they made up for it, or someone made up for it in this match.
In the main event, we had CM Punk versus The Rock for the WWE Championship. But before we got to that, we had one of those classic backstage segments with The Rock. Now, I know a lot of people out there are probably going to say this was fantastic. I really enjoyed this, but he messed up a couple of his lines. He was looking off the screen a little bit often. Didn't think this was the best promo by The Rock personally, and that is a person who does expect a lot of The Rock.
With the whole stipulation going into this match that the Shield could not get involved, I was like, no one said about before the match. Yes, they wanted the match to go down cleanly to begin with, so it comes to be Punk and Rock, but it was an idea I had. But the promo, yes, Rock didn't deliver greatly, so it was his ring action that was having to bring it.
Indeed, and no doubt going in, this match had a real big feel. As soon as the Rumble finished, which is generally you feel like a big match, you got to the match and you think if there was one thing that was going to main event this show after that Rumble, it was definitely going to be CM Punk versus The Rock. A definite big match feel about this. But what I found very interesting going into this was the crowd was really quite split. I heard some good pops for Rock, then I heard some boos for The Rock. You know, CM Punk was getting some good reactions, and I was like, man, this is the total opposite of last year when you had, Cena getting booed and Rock getting some great reactions. I think this does show how over CM Punk is with the crowd.
Well, I think the thing that helps CM Punk is his respect for the Spanish people. I think that really gets him over.
And their announcers' tables.
Very true. But the point is, throughout the match, it was two-sided. Near the end, it was coming more about The Rock. And then after the thing, that the lights go off and all that, it quickly swerved onto go Punk, finish it. No, go and Rock, finish it. So it was a bit back and forth, but then in the end it came to be about The Rock.
It was a good match in my opinion. I didn't feel it was as good as The Rock Cena, and I think that was mainly due to the crowd in my opinion. They had that botched table spot, but they made up for it with the Rock bottom on the floor. You have The Rock about to hit the people's elbow when the lights go out. We don't see who it is, but we think it's the Shield that come out and fuck up with Rock. Punk gets the pin on Rock clean, which surprised us at the time. And then you have, obviously, they're celebrating. Vince McMahon comes out to seemingly strip CM Punk of the title. No. And then The Rock basically goes on the mic and says, the night is not ending like this, and restarts the match. Then The Rock ends up getting the victory. But what did you think about the way they did the finish, involving the Shield not having a complete 100% clean victory? Did you think it added drama to the match, or do you think it ruined your enjoyment of the match? I guess that's the main question that's going to go around here.
I personally feel, for the thing, what's going to happen next, I think as the lights go off, you don't see if it was the Shield or possibly a new member going into Raw. The fact that Vince just went ahead and just did something that he didn't really know what was going on, I think the way it should have finished was CM Punk's the winner. What's going to happen on Raw? Is Vince McMahon going to have some secret evidence? Is the Shield going to explain that they weren't there? I think they definitely, when they swerved back to The Rock, it really ruined the end of Royal Rumble.
You know, when CM Punk got the pin clean on Rock, I was like, damn, it's like, is this the way they're going to finish it? You kind of knew at that point they were going to be doing something else, and obviously the match gets restarted, Rock gets the victory, which, let's face it, guys, we all knew was going to happen, because we knew that, especially when Cena won the Rumble, they were going to build to Rock versus Cena 2 at WrestleMania. Your thoughts on The Rock winning this, and this being the potential catalyst to Rock versus Cena 2?
Like I said, I would have finished this with the whole Punk winning thing, the way they were originally doing it before it got restarted, because I felt they set that up quite good for Raw, but Rock winning after the follow-up from that, it's an obvious, predictable way by many fans why WC members predicted this is probably the way it's going to go down, how they set it up.
They couldn't have predicted that finish, though, could they?
No, but the same is, we knew that Rock and Cena was somehow going to get it, and the Rumble was going to be one of the strongest ways of making it happen. So, to be honest, this is one of the reasons why I was overly hyped up about the Rumble itself.
I guess at least WWE tried to swerve them, because a lot of people knew Rock was going to win. I guess WWE at least tried to swerve the fans a little bit by having Punk actually get a clean victory over The Rock. I know The Rock came back and won, but if you look at it, Punk technically got a clean victory over The Rock, despite the fact that the Shield obviously got him off. So it leaves some element of what's going to happen with the Shield thing. And of course, Rock versus Cena 2 is the big match going into WrestleMania now. And I don't like it one bit, along with it. But I can completely understand why Vince has done this. There's one word in the YWC that really people do not like to hear. And that one thing, that one word is business. Now, if you're Vince McMahon and you're sitting there thinking, oh, Rock Cena drew over 1 million pay-per-view buys, one of the biggest buy rates in a long time, and you're going to do it again. Well, why not, instead of having it a year build, why not build it from the Royal Rumble, have the Royal Rumble winner in the main event of WrestleMania going after the WWE Championship against The Rock? I don't like Rock versus Cena 2, but I can totally understand why WWE did this, even though it stinks to me of same old shit. Same old shit. You have Cena winning the Rumble. He's going to go on to go after the championship, which, it's Road of Redemption, which is complete bullshit. He's going to face The Rock again, and he's probably going to win in the main event of WrestleMania again, and it's all going to be about Cena again. I'm just saying.
There is one small hope. I'm not sure how the WWE are going to do it. Is CM Punk's rematch clause.
Be interesting to see what they do at Elimination Chamber. Will they have The Rock involved at Elimination Chamber? And how many shows and pay-per-views will The Rock be on now that he has the championship? That'll be interesting going forward. When The Rock won, did you get that feeling of being a little kid again, or was it kind of just like, shit?
Like I said earlier, the CM Punk win would have been better.
Do you feel the CM Punk win would have been better? Okay, well, I guess that's a good way to end this video on a discussion note. What did you think to this Royal Rumble pay-per-view? The Royal Rumble winner being John Cena and the WWE Champion, The Rock, reigning supreme over CM Punk. Your overall thoughts on this pay-per-view as a whole before we leave?
Just the way I felt, it weren't the greatest Royal Rumble. It weren't the Rumble I was really hyped up about. Some parts surprised me, like the returns, some spots here and there, but overall, I'm not really jumping for joy.
So I thought this was a decent Royal Rumble. I mean, we had a pretty decent last man standing match to open the show, a solid tag match, a Royal Rumble which I did enjoy to some degree, despite the fact John Cena won. The main event had a big feel about it and was pretty good. While I didn't agree too much with the ending, I still felt it was a kind of semi-dramatic way to end the show. So for me personally, over the 4 matches, I felt this Royal Rumble was actually pretty decent in my opinion. I did. I think it surpassed my expectations going in, which weren't very high, but it was a decent pay-per-view. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on this pay-per-view as a whole. As I take my hoodie off now, I can reveal that I have shitty hair. So thank you very much for watching this video, if indeed you have, and all that's left for me to say now is over to MJ.
People, for some reason, Monster's now spoiling Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Hang on. Now, people, I'm going to say this. All I'm going to say is that we've got the Elimination Chamber come up. But there's one thing about that I want to remind each and every one of you. Number 1, it's my birthday, 25. I'm an old man, I know. But people, I want you to all take part. Send in you doing the "What's up?" and please share your thoughts on this Rumble. And from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, thank you very much. Cena, fuck you, and I do not care about you, and goodbye.